But this Tyrannosaurus Rex just wants to be a party animal.
Coming to you from somewhere deep inside Transition Studios. Brought to you by your hosts, Roger and Lito. Welcome to Sci-Fi Rewind!
I will give you immortality!
Not if Tammy has anything to say about it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sci-Fi Rewind. We're not going to do the normal intro since Lito is gone, but as always, I'm Roger. And who are you?
I'm the dude you had last time. I'm David. Don't you recognize me? Hi, everyone. I'm David Timmons.
Good to have you back, David. This is going to be a bit of a new... I'm still wondering how we're going to get this intro sorted out because it's no longer Roger and Lito. But yeah, things will be a bit different from here on out. We'll try and get that sorted out. We'll try and get some of this stuff sorted out soon.
It's Roger's solo career.
Yeah, think of it this way. It's just going to be Jeopardy after Alex Trebek died. Just trying to find a new replacement or something like that. So, but
I'm Sean Connery. Sean Connery's here.
Yeah, as for now, what we'll be doing is I'll probably be throwing in a new guest here and there. And thank you again for coming on board, David. It's good to finally not be afraid to pick a really crappy movie, and just go like worried that Lita will go like, I don't want to talk about this.
Really? The amazing thing is that this movie has a great script. And then if it had the budget to back it up, it would have been amazing.
Maybe not the best script. Maybe, but we'll get into that. So, I think you know the drill. We've been here before. We got our segments, and we'll just be following that from here on out. Our episode today is of Tammy and the T-Rex, or Tanny and the T-Rex.
Yeah, I was confused by the title when I first saw it.
or Tanny and the Teenage Rex.
Really?
It is bizarre. But before we get into Tammy and the T-Rex, I want to try and do out this new segment that we've been going for. And this doesn't necessarily need to have its own segment sheet. We can just talk about it just for a little bit. So, from here on out, we're going to be talking, each episode, we'll be talking about one episode of Love, Death, and Robots, because it's a show I really enjoyed.
Hi, Roger. I'm Chris Parnell, and I'm a cat now.
I'm Jerry from Rick and Morty. But so, we're just going to talk about this for a little bit. I have my notes ready. Because Love, Death, and Robots is such a short series, and just like there's so many different animation styles. It'll probably be varied on how long we spend on this for. Like, for instance, I don't know how long we'll be on this, but I'm pretty sure this segment for Free Robots, which I guess is the season premiere.
Not really. I look it up. It was technically episode 2, but it's the first episode that pops up on the top of the
on the
list.
Netflix queue. But it's so bizarre just looking up online, like the episode schedule on, like, I don't know, Wikipedia, and then looking at it like on Netflix actual, and it's just so confusing. But we're gonna go with the Netflix format. But I think season 2 and 3 are more like are kind of follow the schedule on Netflix and on online. But so with that, Free Robots. David, what did you think?
Oh, it's great. It's a nice little short. The opening shot was photorealistic, and you're expecting it to be this dark tale of this robot after he's destroyed all of humanity. But no, it's just a tourist trap now.
It's just a tourist trap for the great descendants of Siri, Xbox, and baby monitors.
That's true. I forgot that it was Xbox that he had descended from. He took the little eye of Xbox out of his. Well, obviously it's not Xbox.
It's Xbot, to be more specific. But you could kind of tell. You could kind of tell, like at certain points, where it's like they never mentioned the Siri robot, but you could tell it's Siri, and you can tell, like, okay, he takes the power supply from the Xbot original and just puts it in his eye and go like, oh, he's a descendant of Xbox. That's kind of funny. And then the other guy just flat out says he's like the descendant of baby monitors. Yeah, it is just kind of like, it is kind of just a fun little like tourist trap. Just them kind of looking at our civilization and going like, how? So this is how they lived, huh? That's kind of neat. Also funny. Also silly. That burger though, that in the diner, that was like a pretty preserved burger almost. I mean, I wouldn't eat it, but
what do you expect from fast food burgers? Have you seen those videos where they put a McDonald's burger underneath a glass container?
I guess that's true. Yeah, like put it in like a closet or something for 10 years, and it'll just kind of look the same. But yeah, that's a good point, David. But
if you eat it, you breathe fire.
But yeah, as David was saying, yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I love a lot of the background details. Like for one, when they were in that gym, you could just see in the far distance there's just someone who like hung themselves.
Well, we fully go up to them and push them after they've hung themselves.
I don't know if we see. Wait, did we see him push it? I know we saw the person who like I don't know shot themselves or got shot.
Oh, I didn't see the guy who shot himself.
No, this is in the cheerleader. Oh, this is in the gym.
I thought she.
It's like.
I thought she painted like stuff on with her own blood.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know exactly what happened there. It could be someone shot that person and then like I don't know took her blood, but as you proposed, it could just be like they took their own blood and just painted. We are so doomed or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Can't swear.
Yeah. But there's also one of the standouts I think of this episode is that don't let cats get opposable thumbs because then they'll be too OP. They'll learn to speak and all of that.
It's so cute because when you first see it when I first saw it, I was immediately drawn to the comparison between this and the PS5 game that'll be released any day now.
Yes,
Stray.
I know. Yes.
And it was really funny seeing how they interpreted the game Exploding Kittens, which I've yet to play, as applying to all kittens until I realized, oh wait, no, this is just how cats normally are.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Cats are a blessing and a curse. I am certain one day if they evolve too quickly, they will overtake us all.
That or seahorses.
That or seahorses. Or chickens. That was a conversation going here. There are way too many chickens on the planet.
Oh, and cockroaches.
Ugh, no, don't tell me that. Don't tell me cockroaches.
Going from one dude I used to look up to another. Doug Walker to... what's his name? Who created Fairly Odd Parents?
Butch Hartman.
Butch Hartman. Anyway.
Yeah, so... what I have written down here... yeah, Season 1 seems so oddly placed. Yeah, that basketball has lasted a long time, huh?
Mm-hmm. I saw a dude on YouTube pump up a basketball way too much with air, then throw it on the ground, and it exploded. And it wasn't exactly a nice thing to listen to. Yet this basketball has somehow still got some bounce in it. Pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah, I know, right? You would have thought it would just deflated or something. But I guess that basketball was built to last.
Touches it, it pops.
There's a little bit of social commentary at the end. Mm-hmm. It's just like when Siri Robot's going like they were all hubris and all that. Their own hubris and their own things led to their own doom.
You got to warn us before you go on a philosophical tangent like that. Seriously.
I can think of another episode that kind of deals with similar subject matter in the same show that I feel like isn't as subtle and just kind of is just like
Pelvis in your face, basically.
But it reminds me of Star Trek Picard, where they're just not subtle at all. They go back to the past and they go like, "You're killing it, 2012. I can't believe this thing. I can't believe the government didn't fall down sooner." I don't want to say it because this is going to be not even in this season. This is going to be in later seasons. But just be warned of that. I mean, there's still interesting elements to that episode when we get to it, but...
He can't see me, but anytime someone brings up Picard, I immediately want to bang my head against the table.
He did.
But I will not, because it will disrupt the sound equipment that Roger worked a lot on to make sure it works. So, yeah.
But yeah, so... I'm just gonna... So, yeah. So, this episode, I had fun with it. Maybe not my favorite of season 1. There's a certain episode that I actually showed David... There are certain episodes in season 1 that I really like. One in particular that, David, I think you know that I'm really looking forward to talking about. Well, so with that, I really liked this one. I mean, not really liked. I liked this episode. I had fun with it, but I feel like there are more interesting episodes to talk about. And this one's just kind of like, oh, this is a neat little episode. This is a neat little thing. This is maybe one of the more like lighthearted episodes, even though like every single episode has a dark element to it, and you like see it in this. It's just like humanity went extinct basically. Now it's just the robots just kind of that one shot at the beginning that looks like it's from Terminator 2, where it's like stepping on the skulls. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's just, you know.
Kids could watch this episode if it wasn't for all the swearing.
Oh yeah, no, this is something that's gonna be. This is something that you might need to be aware of, audience of season 1. A lot of swearing and a lot of nudity. There's going to be and a lot of blood. And a lot of blood. There's going to be a lot of that. But, so this isn't necessarily it's kind of hard to think of an episode that would be all right to show for kids. There's one specific episode I can think of that's in season 2 that I go like, I could probably show my kid that. It'll probably scare the crap out of him, but it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't have a kid, by the way. I'm just speaking hypothetically. And so with that, is there anything else you want to say about the episode?
Not really. It's basically the Twilight Zone, but now 15 minutes.
Well,
and sci-fi themed. Well, Twilight Zone was already sci-fi themed, but very much robots and technology themed. Mm-hmm. Check it out if you haven't already.
Well, okay then. In that case, let's move on to our main event tonight. It's T and the T-Rex, because such a confusing name.
Don't you mean T and the Teenage Rex?
That's why I go T. That's why I shortened everything down to TATR.
Okay, that ought to do. Just put it under T for T-Rex. And yes, this movie is weird, stupid, and most importantly, fun. Yeah. I was enjoying it way too much for how low budget this is.
Well, before you go on with that thought, let's go into, real quick, the elevator pitch we got. So, since this is my pick, I'll just kind of just say, this movie is, normally you're supposed to compare it to this movie meets this movie, things like that.
Well, there's only one movie you can really compare this to another movie. Jurassic Park meets insert
RoboCop?
Kinda. I was about to say this is more like
Jurassic Park meets RoboCop meets a slapstick comedy.
Well, that's the weird thing. I was thinking of it more like an 80s coming of age film or, John Hughes, stuff like that, because even though this is 1994, 1 year after Jurassic Park came out, this feels like I'm watching an episode of Full House.
Oh yeah, there's so many things. So the movie stars Denise Richards, Paul Walker for a little bit. Then you get Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, Terry Kaiser. I think that's about it. Like, those are like the only notable names. I don't think anyone else here has ever acted in anything else ever.
I wonder why, even though most of the actors are giving it their all. This movie surprised me in the same way that Get Out did, where this comic relief character is surprisingly really funny, has great lines, and is unique for a comic relief character.
But we're still on the pitch, so we'll get into that things.
Yeah,
we'll get on to that in a little
Keep
bit.
on jumping around.
But so yeah, we're still in the pitch meeting. So 1 second, I think my
Sorry, that was me.
yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. I'm talking. So with this, so Paul Walker and Denise Richards, they have names, but I'm just gonna. I guess you could. Okay, you know what? Mike and Tammy. It's why would they do this? Why would they name them those characters? But so they're a young couple out there who just love each other so much. But Tanny's ex-boyfriend, he's a thug, and he comes in and he does something so heinous, and he's so heinous and evil that he would make a Stephen King villain bully blush.
No, not really.
I wrote this down. I wrote down. I'm sorry. Even Stephen King bullies would think this guy is too much. He's just insane all the time, and it really makes you think, how did this girl ever fall for that guy for just even a minute? But so
Maybe it's
this guy and his bully friends throw Paul Walker into a nature preserve of big cats
that just so happens to be in this random neighborhood in the middle of nowhere, California.
And they leave that gate open. Like, there's probably news reports afterwards of like giant cats all leave the area. Game warden has to go out and shoot them all. That was the most shocking thing to me. It's like, you had a shotgun? You didn't have like a trank gun or anything like that?
Nope. Let's be honest, this is America. And that would have been funny to see the T-Rex fight all these different animals.
It would have been awkward. It would have been, but it probably would have been funny.
It would have been, yeah.
So then Paul Walker, who's still alive and surprisingly in good shape after getting mauled by a freaking lion.
He just got scratched a little bit. It's like dealing with a dog.
He just got one little scratch that he's put into a coma.
Apparently, no one has seen the movie Roar, so.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I wrote in my notes. I was like, I actually, when he was getting attacked by the lions, I was like, oh come on, if Noel Marshall could hand over 100 giant cats, you can handle 3 of them. Then Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's shows up with, and then with a very like revealing nurse or partner or something like that.
Yeah.
They're always kissing. It reminded me of Smiling Friends. How just so much kissing in that show. Just like Pym just goes like,
Yeah.
or things like that, or just like, although like random bits of kissing. But so evil scientist gets Paul Walker, like kills him. It makes it seem like he's dead.
Also, the revealing nurse can pack a punch.
Oh yeah.
To knock out a football player.
Oh yeah. So they take Paul Walker away from the hospital. They're like posing as doctors, and they make it seem like he's dead. So they just take the body to their secret hideout, and they Paul Walker is like semi-conscious throughout all this. He's like kind of aware, not really aware of what's happening, but he's like, "What's going on? And then he keeps getting knocked out. They cut out his brain, and
in a surprisingly gory fashion. I did not expect this 80s style movie to have really well done gory special effects and comedic gory special effects. One guy gets crushed and he then literally gets wrapped up like he's a blow up floaty or something like that.
Yeah. It was like, so that's one of the reasons why. So we watched this movie on Shudder, and it had been kind of touted as like when you watch normally when you watch this movie, you'll be watching the cut version where they apparently cut out a lot of the gore, and so Shudder had found like, I don't know, the original version, and it's like they put in all the gore back. So so a lot of comedic gore and things like that, but it really does add like a conflicting tone to the movie.
I think it adds on because on one hand it's overly comedic, and I think that's the point. This is not a serious movie. This is a dark comedy making fun of low budget films and at the same time 80s films in general.
Oh yeah, I'm reminded of a scene when they're in the hospital and Denise Richards is mourning Paul Walker being mauled by a lion, and then the bully comes in and they gay best friend and Denise Richards, Tammy, beat up the bullies, and then they're like, yeah, and I go like, wait, whoa, this is like a conflicting tone right
also
here.
That guy cannot stop getting kicked in the balls for some reason.
Oh yeah,
like she kicks him. Then there's the opening scene where they're in a Mexican standoff where they're both like grabbing each other in the
surprisingly
crotch.
amount of testicular torture in this movie.
Yeah, but it does lead to one of the best lines in the movie. What, kid? You got no balls down there? I had a cup on.
Yeah. But so this mad scientist is really in love with his dinosaur creation for some reason. And he decides the best way to make his dinosaur creation come to life is to put a human brain in it. And so
I don't know why.
And so Mike,
this never ends well.
And so Mike, Paul Walker, is fully conscious in this dinosaur body, and he can't talk, but he somehow has the ability to make his tiny T-Rex arms like extend huge amounts of distances, so that it's like if he needs to make a phone call, he just grabs the phone with his little dinosaur hand, and it suddenly just goes up to his hand like it's normal, but it's just like that T-Rex arm has to extend like quite a bit in order to. Anyway,
that's where I was getting the idea that this was a comedy, because I wrote down in my notes in all caps, I'm showing it to Roger, did he just grab and throw that dumbbell back? Like, really?
Oh yeah. So so they plan to do a lobotomy on the brain, having already put the brain in the T-Rex body and go like, no, nothing could go wrong here. It'll be fine. So then, we're just kind of going through the plot almost. So then, I guess the rules of nature kicked in for Michael, because he just starts murdering people left and right.
Hell yeah.
Just like this teenage kid just like suddenly just like starts ripping people apart, stomping on them, just like having no mercy for the people who have wronged him.
Well, yeah, you would, because these people cut out your brain and put them inside a giant T-Rex that's able to move around. Of course you'd be pissed.
I have no reason. Yeah, we're probably good. I have no idea how this robot works. Apparently, it can swallow and like digest food, I think.
Really?
Well, I mean, like you never. There are certain points where you can see it like fall out of his mouth, but I think other times you just have to assume like he swallowed it or something. Like when he eats that flower. But anyway, so all he can think of right now is he wants to get back with Denise Richards. He goes to visit her at a party, and he sees that the bullies who messed with him are there. And there's this one female bully who feels sorry for what she did to Paul Walker, Mike. And that's it.
Yeah.
She's never mentioned again.
She just disappears out of thin air. She's just gone. That's one problem I have. I feel like not only would this movie work if it had a bigger budget, but also you also want to stretch it out. Like I wanted to see the bully and the doctor get it at the same time. That would be great.
I mean, like this movie was flowing by real quick. It took like 30 minutes for the dinosaur plot to really kick in. Yeah.
I'll give it that. It's fast.
So Mike sees that Mike in his dinosaur body sees that the bullies are at the party, and he just starts murdering all of these bullies in severely silly fashions. Did you notice? Did you notice like when he cut that when he killed the first guy? When he killed the first guy at the party, he like slashes him, and like his intestines fall out. But there's like once they fall down, it's just like you just see the shirt, and there's like nothing inside him at all. It's just like you could just tell the actor was just holding up fake guts, and they go like, it'll work. Just have it fall down, and no one will notice.
Well, yeah, you could again CGI artists. He could have made it look like an open hole, like a fleshy open black hole.
And then later on, after all the carnage has gone on, you see that guy's dead body, and you can see the inside of his chest now. Suddenly, don't think about it. But anyway, so he murders all the bullies. Treats the gay best friend, lifts him up.
That's great.
Goes on, leaves. It's just like, hey, the bully subplot is gone now. Goes to Denise Richards' house, kidnaps her.
Somehow. It's like that scene in Lost World Jurassic Park where somehow the T-Rex managed to kill the captain whose hand is still on the steering wheel without destroying the doorway or anything, like the windows or anything like that. Somehow it's perfectly still intact.
Okay, so, and then after that, he's able to convince Denise Richards that he is in the dinosaur's body. And she, like, still, apparently they had, like, a really good relationship because she is in love with this guy. Like,
I'd feel bad if and all that. I'd be like, don't worry, man, we'll get you. I'd be broing up to a giant T-Rex because, one, I don't want to get on your bad side in this state.
I'm also thinking it's just like, did she know that he murdered people? Like,
they tried to murder him.
Well, I mean, I'd still even go, it's just like, I hear someone murdered someone. I feel like my mind shift would probably go like, I don't know how to feel about that. Yeah, but there is a justification, but there's also there is somewhat of a justification, but it's just like even then I feel like there is like that you hear this one person who's never killed anyone before suddenly started killing people, you go like, I don't know about that.
And he didn't murder the couple that wandered out of the nightclub. He didn't murder anybody else at the party aside from the bullies who wronged him.
So anyway, we're still in the pitch meeting. So they move on. They try and put his brain back in his body, and the body has surprisingly decomposed in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that was my favorite reveal. That's when the comedy aspect really kicked in, where I knew it was gonna be decomposed, but to what state? And it was really funny to see
because if it were to be that way, his body would have had to been underneath the ground for like weeks or something like that. But suddenly, like
somehow maggots got into a coffin that, if you don't know stuff about the funeral home industry, they make sure your body stays in good shape for a while.
Yeah.
That would have been a good joke if they get the body, it's normal, but then they realize, oh wait, the eyes are glued shut, it's filled up with preservatives, and god dang it, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to get a new body now. But I like the decomposition joke because
okay, so
kids movie, everybody.
Written by James Gunn.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot. Well, now it makes sense.
So the cops arrive. Mike and Denise are chased out of town. They go to a barn, and then
The same barn that somehow she walked back to her house from, yet it's on the outskirts of town now.
Gabe, best friend, lures the police like very in a very stupid move, leads the police to the barn like, and then the evil guys show up and Paul Walker murders Bernie. Mike, I keep saying Paul Walker. Yeah, Paul Walker. Who cares? Paul Walker murders Bernie. Then the police shoot the T-Rex, and I guess it's so weird. It's a robot, but like I guess guns can kill a robot.
Enough bullets would be able to short circuit some of its things, making it move around.
You really needed to blow up that T-Rex. You needed to apply like some squibs to it or something.
Yeah,
just
you could have like sparks shooting everywhere.
Yeah,
and,
but it
stuff.
really did not look like there was anything going on there. It's just like It's just like awkwardly.
Reminds me of Five Nights at Freddy's short stories that aren't the ones that you're thinking of. It's just the a guy brought a gun in to work, and guess what happened? Ding, ding. Ah, crap. And then he dies.
So then it cuts to a short time later. Denise Richards, Tammy, goes home. And she does a little fun time for Paul Walker's like conscious brain. And
He's taken this very well. Granted, he's in Denise Richards' room, but at this, did I say her name right?
Denise Richards.
Okay,
or
good.
Tammy.
Tammy.
Or Tanny.
But anyway, he's in her room, so he's getting a nice peep show. But at the same time, yeah, I'd like a body, please.
Yeah.
One of these days. I mean, she's working on it, but at the same time, oh man, I don't know what I'd think of.
But that ending was insane.
Be a nice little episode you could do on Love, Death, and Robots if you think about it.
Yeah, so that ending was, like, to anyone who has seen it, like, it is just, like, doing a little exciting time for Paul Walker, seeing Denise Richards, just, like, becoming more revealing. And Paul Walker's brain gets really excited to the point where sparks start flying.
I didn't know that's how I'm guessing it works with female brains too.
I guess, yeah.
Sparks literally shoot out of her head.
Yeah. And then it ends with Paul Walker saying, "We gotta get me a new body." The end. So, okay. I don't know much about the budget. I don't imagine this movie, like, really lost a lot of money or gained a lot of money. It looks very cheap. It only recently kind of got... Okay, so this was made in 94. And it was... the 94 version was cut. And it was only until 2019 where we finally got to see the, like, uncut version. So... That's all I can really say. Like, this pitch meeting is so out there and weird. It's this movie is so hard to do for a pitch meeting, but
I could do I could do it, but from the perspective of a dude wandering up to another dude and doing like a sketch. Here's the thing. It's Jerry, what? I got a giant animatronic dinosaur. Let's make a movie around it. Sure, why not?
Yeah, did you ever notice that platform that the dinosaur is standing on all the time? It's like on that metal platform. It's like a sheet, a metal sheet that it's always standing on. And so whenever you see like a full body thing, it's usually got like dirt at its feet or anything like that because they had to hide the platform. Because this movie's cheap. This isn't like a movie you can really take seriously. It's just stupid. Like all the time.
It reminds me of the parody movies of the 2000s that sadly got worse and worse as they went on, like Scary Movie and, of course, the world-renowned, hated Epic Movie. But this is much better because it takes itself 100% seriously and has great comedic timing.
I don't know if it, like...
Well, for the people, for the characters, they take this 100% seriously. Obviously, the director.
I don't know if they took it seriously. Like everyone seems to be like, I think there's a very like knowing like this is stupid. This is stupid, and we're I'm curious how I'd be curious how the actors feel about the movie, because I'm curious if they had fun making it or if they were just like, this is stupid and this is a paycheck and I'm just gonna cash in on this real quick. But so since we're kind of done with this pitch meeting, David, do you want to talk about your history of the film? Do you have any history of the film?
Not really. I watched this on Wednesday during this week when we're recording this, and I was screaming, yeah, when the T-Rex bites off the head of the one scientist kid and laughing at all the jokes that were surprisingly well-timed. I told the idea of the movie to my mom, and she was just like, what? And the funniest thing is that I don't have history with this movie, but I have a history with bad dinosaur movies. Mm-hmm. And one was one that Red Letter Media took a look at. Do you know that? Remember that one where they're lost in the dinosaur park or something like that? Mm-hmm. And it just kind of reminded me of that, where they don't know how to film the animatronics really well. So they either like go like the camera moves.
They need like a CGI robot dinosaur. They need like a CGI dinosaur that just kind of awkwardly walks for 1 minute to make it seem like it's getting closer.
Yeah.
It's really bad CGI. But is that your history with the film?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, but this is much, much better, surprisingly, because, again, comedic timing, and at least they tried. You can't say they slacked off with this. They really tried with the limited resources they have. It feels like something that you and I would make if we wanted to make a comedy, but at the same time had enough resources to make a slasher movie. Mm-hmm.
But so you mentioned Red Letter Media for my history of the film. Red Letter Media covered this movie.
Nice.
This was when they did a full-on dinosaur episode. They talked about Theodore Rex. They talked about Carnosaur, and they talked about Tammy and the T-Rex. And I was thinking before Lita left, I gotta do a funny bad movie. Let's do Tammy and the T-Rex, and then he left. And so I figured, I'll get David involved. So, yeah. So I had watched, I'd listened to Red Letter Media talk about this movie before, and yeah, I known that this movie was stupid, but it is always something kind of unique watching it yourself and just going like, yeah, this movie's fun. This is a fun movie. I mean, like, I wasn't around when this movie was made. I wasn't even born when this movie was made, but so yeah. Hearing Red Letter Media talk about this, and I think the notorious ending of this film really was like I'll go watch this one. Let's watch this one. This one was fun. Yeah, surprising amount of gore, and this is only available on Shudder, I think. I don't know where you can find. I don't know where else you can find the uncut version. The cut version, it cuts out a lot of the death scenes, and it's like awkward death. But yeah, all the amounts of all the like very weird deaths in this film kind of make it work. And there's so much I wrote down in this. Like R.I.P. Paul Walker.
Yeah, I got something funny.
Okay.
A German.
Oh wait. Is this behind the scenes stuff?
No, this is just my observations of it.
Okay.
A German scientist, a bulked up dude who says, "Little man," a tough talking punk, and a nerdy love interest. Mm-hmm. This is slowly turning into the inspiration for Team Fortress 2. I'm running circles around you, Mr. T-Rex.
I wrote down the sudden cut from Bernie exclaiming he'll get his T-Rex a brain to Paul Walker at his home is hilarious. That one cut where it's just like, and then it's suddenly like a nice romantic song going on, and like Paul Walker's in his bed, and it's just like, it made me laugh. This cut was so sudden.
That you could say that's a good establishing shot of what's going to happen later in the film.
You're mentioning that there is some. This is not like a good movie. This is a B movie. This is something.
Oh yeah.
this is something you point and laugh at, but
The funniest thing is my mom would consider Halloween to be a B movie, and I highly disagree on that because Halloween is too well directed and too well shot and too well acted. This is definitely a B movie, one that you can fully enjoy and how bad it is. The stuff is also not really a B movie. It's because, again, really well shot and really well directed. It's not.
Do you remember seeing the dinosaur crying?
Yeah, that was really funny and at the same time sad because it's a dude trapped inside a T-Rex's body. I'd be crying if I was in that situation too.
Going through my notes, I'm reminded of this one shot where gay best friend is talking to his dad, who is also the chief of police.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Oh, God.
It's right after the massacre and everything, and it's out of focus, and all I could do was just yell, "Focus! Focus!" It's out of focus. You need to.
What is this? A YouTube video?
Yeah. There's a lot of inconsistent stuff about this movie. Inconsistent tone, inconsistent like props and things like that.
Again, I think that it's more or less the idea that we're making this a parody movie.
I don't think this is a parody. I think this is who directed it? The director is Stuart Raphael, a British writer and director, who might come from the same. Oh my God! There's a picture of this guy with a tiger. I don't what.
He's Tiger King.
Oh no! The guy who directed this directed Mac and Me.
What did you expect?
I mean like. Oh, and he also directed Ice Pirates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what else did he direct? Okay, he's gone a career that's gone up to 2015. It's like, okay, what else did he direct? A Month of Sundays. Grizzly Falls.
He's a guy who directs B movies. Mac and Me is a weird and stupid movie that I can understand where it came from, but the aliens in that are too stupid and too terrifying to actually love or take seriously, because I think Paul Rudd ruined this movie for me forever because...
Not Tammy and the T-Rex.
Well, I'm talking about Mac and Me.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
And Paul Rudd ruined that because he would always bring that clip of the kid rolling down that hill and then falling in the water and then the...
Did you see the Conan clip on his podcast?
Oh, he brought it on there too.
Yeah,
of course he did.
It's an audio medium and everything like that, and Paul Rudd still like brought the clip from his new project, and he just showed back at me. Cody's like, God dang it! Why did you, this is an audio format? You can't. Come on, man.
I knew it was coming, even on his last show. Like, I knew he was going to bring it out no matter what, but at the same time, it always gets me.
Okay, so, yeah, my thoughts on the IP is it's stupid, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's on Shudder. If you haven't already, you can maybe just, like, try and make a free account, watch this, see what else Shudder has, because Shudder is, like, the horror streaming service, so... check it out. But we also have, what is our interpretation of the meaning of the film?
Enjoy life while it counts, because you never know when a mad scientist might favor you to put your brain inside of a giant T-Rex, except with the state of the world and the fact that everyone wants immortality and how obsessed we are with technology, I wouldn't be surprised if people start putting their brains inside robots like it's an episode of Futurama.
I mean, like, Cyberpunk 2077, you know, it's just like we've all augmented our bodies to the point where it's just like brains in robot bodies, but... yeah... I don't know if they were really aiming for anything.
We got nothing. We really got nothing with this. At least with this stuff, it's making fun of capitalism with Thing. It's showing the nihilism and hopelessness of life in a situation like what they're in. This,
2001: A Space Odyssey. It barely has any plot, but you can make so many ideas off of it.
Yeah.
But this, it's like, it's wow. There's almost nothing to kind of take from it.
Absolutely nothing.
Maybe just like persistence in behind the scenes stuff. It's like maybe through persistence, one day you'll get to see the original version that we wanted to make but never got to.
Yeah. When the David Lynch original cut of Dune, or when it goes on for 3 hours, that I'd like to see.
Okay, so next bit is stories behind the story. And I feel like I've already mentioned that. I feel like it's like just, the most interesting idea I can think of behind the scenes story is getting the uncut the cut version to the cut version, and just like that whole. But let me see if I can find. I still don't understand why it's called Tammy and the T-Rex. That is.
The stuntman got bitten by a jaguar. I just looked it up on IMDb for the trivia. So, yeah, there's that.
Okay. I could buy that. Like that. You could tell that wasn't Paul Walker actually getting mauled.
Really? I never would have guessed. It's like
the script was written within 3 weeks. Moreover, the cast and locations were also taken care of. It was written in 3 weeks. Boy, that's shocking.
Yeah, took me 3 months to write the first half of my screenplay, but this script was written in 3 weeks. Wow, I never would have guessed.
I do kind of like that. In certain movies, you could tell that that like giant robot dinosaurs are like robotic and everything. Mm-hmm. You can kind of tell that they had to work around this stuff. And here it actually does kind of work because he's actually in a robotic dinosaur. There's no getting away around it. It's like his movements are going to be robotic. But that's something I kind of like.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's.
It's not like they found a dinosaur hidden in ice or something like that. Mm-hmm. No, this is a robot dinosaur. We're not making this how a dinosaur would actually act, because that's already been done before with Jurassic Park. So why not let's do our own interesting robot thing.
This movie cut all the gory scenes because it had a PG-13 rating. Because they wanted to give it a PG-13 rating.
Idiots.
But some of these shots ended up in the Italian dub.
Nice.
It wasn't until an uncut 35 millimeter print was discovered by Vinegar Syndrome, who, I don't know if you saw, they also did that New York Samurai movie. That the film was restored to its original uncensored version. And yay!
Nice.
Yay. So, this is probably going to be the subject we spend on the most. How can we make this IP better?
Bigger budgets, and
I would spend more time on the script.
I think the script is fine as it is right now if you want to make a good parody movie.
I don't know if this is a parody, though. I feel like they just want to make a comedy. Or something like that.
Yeah, comedy. That's what I meant to say.
They wanted to make a high school comedy that also has like an obscene amount of gore.
Yeah. That's what I should have said, like a comedy. I don't know why I'm saying parody. Mainly because I'm thinking of those 2000s era movies. Because they have like the same budget as well.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have revealed the T-Rex as early as they did. I would have had us be Paul Walker's character, and I would have made us go like, wait, what? You're doing what with my what?
Yeah, stretch this movie out a little bit more. Also, It would be more interesting if Paul was a little bit more like beaten up. His body was more torn up, like RoboCop or something like that. So he would have a good reason to be put in the dinosaur thing. And then he hears them say, okay, we'll lobotomize him in the morning, but for now we'll just keep him saying, you take care of the body. And he hears that, and that's something that they couldn't think, because they didn't program ears into it. But he was able to hear it via the vibrations or something else within the animatronic's body. You could also have the computer that was originally controlling the thing working alongside him. You could have Terminator eyesight where you're like analyzing stuff like that. All could be done with a bigger budget.
Explain the doctor's obsession with the T-Rex better. I still am like confused as to why he was like...
He probably wanted to create a new means for humanity to live on, similar to cyberpunk-ish stuff where we have immortal bodies that switch around our brains. Wow, this is sounding more and more like Get Out, if you know what I mean. But the idea behind it isn't awful. You could do this for plenty of people who died tragically, but of course, his only access was a giant animatronic T-Rex for some reason, and not a robot he built from scratch. And he did this with possibly a college dropout, some big muscly man who probably needed to pay the bills, and his sex-crazed, overexposed nurse friend who...
I'm kind of shocked she made it.
Yeah. I'm surprised that she kind of wept for the guy, for Paul at the end. Where
and all those cops, everyone there,
that cop,
everyone is crying.
Those two cops, that was a great joke, because for the most part they're just kind of stupid, homophobic throughout the film, and then they're just crying on each other at the end. It's perfect.
And they're like the most sad out of every single one of them.
Yeah, a girl just lost her boyfriend who was given life, and they got revenge on all the people that they want. And there's other great jokes in it too, like they're waving a white flag, and it's her bra. but
yeah, there's so much you can fix with this. Like, maybe extend the bully conflict more, something like that. I don't know. Maybe give him more of like a okay, how do I say it? Like maybe give him a bit more of a justification. Like I know they put him in that jaguar thing, but you know, they put him in that nature preserve and everything, and you know he got attacked, and you know that would rightfully tick someone off. But maybe give him a bit more of a justification. Maybe it's like they're about to attack someone or something like that, and he goes like, "No, I'm not letting that happen again," because technically him dying isn't exactly their fault. It is more so the scientists. He probably would have recovered, because like he was starting to like come to and everything. But it's like maybe say it's like gay best friend is like talking with them, and it's like, hey, I don't like you being with my woman, you know?
Yeah. Oh, they're about to do the same thing. Yeah. Oh, that would have been a great shot where they're about to do the same thing. The lion's approaching, then the lion gets scared. Boom. Boom, and they're like, "What the?" As this thing comes out, starts chasing them.
This
again, bigger budget. You could do. Sorry if I'm using this word a lot. A parody version of the T-Rex chase scene from Jurassic Park.
Like they kept doing that.
Boom, boom, boom.
They saw Jurassic Park and they're like, "Hey, let's have that scene where the water is like bouncing."
Yeah.
I was reminded of this line when we were talking about things that we could fix. Remember that line the bully says when they finally catch up to Paul, and he says, "What would you do if someone screwed your old lady and you had the power to do whatever you want to that huh?" It's like, what a weird line. What a weird line.
Out of all. God.
What would you...
What did Paul say afterwards? Because I think it was funny. I don't know.
I would just be like, what?
What?
It's such a weird line.
Look, Sid Vicious, I'm sorry, but your girlfriend is moving on.
He looks remarkably well for a lion attack. Maybe make it seem like he's actually about to die.
Yeah,
he looks remarkably fine for a lion attack victim.
I can just imagine this happen. The guy who was right next to the lion wasn't actually biting him because, of course, the stuntman got bit by a jaguar. I can just imagine the lion just nudging up to him, just going like a dog or a cat purring up against you, and the lion's not harming him at all. It's just like that, stuff like that.
I wish that they established better that it was going to get gory. It's almost like, I guess there is a bit of a shock humor element to like how bloody he gets, but I wish there was something to kind of like prepare you for that a bit better.
No, I like that reveal where all of a sudden it's super disturbingly gory. I thought they would cut away from the brain transplant, but no, blood's getting on the kid, and he's putting up that metal plate to shield him. I don't know.
All of the villains are comically evil. Do you remember the small little guy? He's like, he's lost his mind. Like at some points he seems like kind of normal.
Yeah, he sounds like Poindexter.
And then at another moment he goes like, yeah, I'm an Igor character. It is.
Lesson learned: do not turn your back to a T-Rex, or it will bite your head off.
Yeah, the comically extending arms were just like, what is up with that? I do like the robotic, the plot element of the robotic T-Rex. That's like a fun little. Try and get rid of that platform that the T-Rex is standing on.
Yeah, no, I just realized something. One last thing that I would like to put in the movie is the scientist. He gets Bernie, I guess. He gets wounded, but he's not too wounded, and the female doctor, who's just as good as him, puts him in the body of a giant robotic triceratops, and then you have a T-Rex versus a triceratops, but they're both robots. That would have been a funny like dinosaur thing, and you make it in like the center of town, and it turns into a Godzilla movie at the end where everybody's going, what the hell is going on?
That cop, that chief of police is like the most relatable character. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? Wait, what?
Okay, son, explain to me. It's a T-Rex that has your friend's brain inside, and you don't want us to destroy it so he can salvage your friend's brain. You want us to treat it like it's still your friend.
He's out of everyone in this character who feels like a cartoon character, he's the most realistic. Huh?
He's not fainting or doing like that.
He's just more flabbergasted at this whole scenario.
Basically just a normal person.
Well, with that, any last thoughts?
This feels like an episode of Codename Kids Next Door, except a lot more brutal.
I guess maybe in a bit of a way, yeah. I guess
yeah, number one got his brain put inside of a T-Rex, and then number three has to convince everybody that it's him.
Yeah, kind of. Maybe it's like a robotic brain, and it's just like they got a little zapper thing. Like they got like two little like plungers on his head, and they got another on a T-Rex head, and there's just like, and it's like the plungers are like, going up and down, and then suddenly he's just like, yeah, I could kind of see it. I don't have any last thoughts. It's just like if you want, just maybe go check this movie out on Shudder. The gore really makes it funny. It really does add shock humor to it. It adds a layer of comedy to the film. The uncut version, makes it into a PG-13 movie, and I don't know if that really works.
No, it doesn't. Maybe some of the comedic elements, but the comedic elements also shine in an R-rated movie, because you couldn't do all the sex and
this movie
homophobic jokes with a PG-13 thing.
Oh no, they did a bunch of the homophobic jokes.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Because do you remember that moment where it's like when the cops are going like, "Don't bend over" or things like that when they're talking about him.
Nice.
Yeah, that. So, yeah, so it gets shocking when you're like watching this like quirky little romantic teen comedy, and then suddenly just horrible violence breaks out. And you're like, "Whoa, wait, what? Where did this come from?"
Well, I knew that was gonna happen because I'm watching this on Shudder, but at the same time, I'm waiting for it. Yeah.
So, do we have any recommendations, or does this movie remind you of anything else?
Funny, stupid robot movies. I don't know. I'm thinking of robot movies because obviously there's not too many great dinosaur movies that aren't just Jurassic Park.
I mean, just anything. Does this movie remind you of anything that you've probably seen?
I don't know. If you just want cyborg stuff, just watch anime. Like there's so much robot. Oh, what am I talking about? Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, because they also have dinosaur robots and that stuff too.
I guess it does get a little awkward with the fights, but is that all you got?
Yeah, I guess just check out anime or Power Rangers if you want more robot dinosaur action.
I guess if you want a story of a guy whose brain is put into a robot, check out RoboCop.
Yeah.
Or
Frankenstein for that matter.
I guess you can kind of go for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Boy, I guess Cyberpunk 2077. I'm kind of thinking of that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Good
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park, very much so.
I mean, you could probably tell they took inspiration from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's 1 year later.
I guess also just check out Shudder, because there's probably a bunch of stuff that you could probably find there that's fun.
I really need to see Malignant. I really do.
We'll watch it at one point.
Yeah.
I think Malignant is on HBO Max, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. And I have HBO Max now.
Don't watch it without me, because
I won't.
Because that is a movie you watch during Halloween.
Hell yeah. A friend of mine saw it in the theater, and I would have loved to see Tammy and the T-Rex in the theater. Like,
I saw it in the theater.
What the hell would the audience reaction be to Tammy, teenage T-Rex?
That's another thing.
What would it be back in '94?
That's another thing you want to fix about this movie. Get the name right.
Yeah.
Get the name right.
Tina and the T-Rex.
Okay, so besides
Tina
that,
Fey and the T-Rex.
So what have you been watching as of late?
Old Man with Jeff Bridges. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Revisiting Bleach, the classic early 2000s anime. It's really cool. Since they're bringing back that they're doing the last season soon. Movies that I've seen. I don't know. Last episode when I was on, we were talking about The Overwhelming Weight of Talent with Nick Cage. I finally saw it.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I finally saw it. Nick Cage and the Mandalorian what's his name?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. One of the best bromances in history. Freaking Nick Cage is crying, and then Pedro looks around. Nick? It turns out it was just on one wall, and it's just like, oh,
I was
okay.
watching a little bit of Red Letter Media's review of Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then Mike explains the plot of of Unbearable Weight to Jay, and Jay is like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
He's just like shocked, and
it's actual Nick Cage. It's not like him playing anything else. It's just himself.
He was shocked at the drug lord like subplot, and like, wait, what? I was not expecting that. Anything else? Maybe playing anything?
Playing, of course. I don't know why there's a bunch of memes online making fun of the fact that no one's playing this, but apparently me and Roger we're playing Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, and that game's really good. Persona 5 just got announced for Switch. Can't wait for that. Mm-hmm. And any other video games? I don't know. I gotta play Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously.
Oh, good luck with that.
I know.
Uh,
But I'm an Xbox Series Chad, clearly the alpha male, so I gotta buy it sometime, and experience it.
so is that it for what you've got?
Yeah.
For me, well, just recently it was the 4th of July, so I decided, hey, I'll watch Team America World Police again.
America, F yeah.
Coming again to save the mother effing day, yeah. That is still a fun movie. It's so stupid. I'm just always like, I always find Trey Parker specifically, like Matt Stone's also good, but Trey Parker's delivery of lines is really funny.
I can't wait to play this game on my phone on my oven or something.
Yes, that was. Have you ever thought about playing? Yeah, this was at the
E3 when Xbox was pushing this new idea of playing.
No. This was Trey Parker and Matt Stone going up and announcing the Stick of Truth, and so playing from my shower while sitting in the refrigerator. Well, we're not doing that, but we're announcing this new game. But Trey Parker's delivery of so many lines, I'm just reminded of like the bar scene when he's like hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Every single character in that bar is voiced by Trey Parker. It's so funny. And even when he gets out in the street and there's that one lady who's like, get out of the street, you effing bum. And that's Trey Parker.
Nice.
It's always funny to me.
My cousin doesn't like South Park, and I understand why, but I think she would kind of like
Team
America World Police because it's over-the-top action mixed with puppets and
really
also
brutal puppet deaths.
Yeah, but it's also making fun. The reason why I love South Park is because it makes fun of everybody, and you got to appreciate that. They make fun of themselves plenty of times. Like the Canadian show, it's named after themselves.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta appreciate the Film Actors Guild and all they've done for.
I won't give away that joke because A, this is PG, and two, it's just funny on its own. But I will give away this one, Matt Damon.
You really did a lot of good there, huh?
Matt Damon.
And I started. Let's see. Just finished the last season of Peaky Blinders. That show's really good. I still have to finish Ozark. Me and my family are running behind on that one, and we gotta catch up. And that's like the last season. I gotta play Dragon's Dogma, the game from the guy who did Devil May Cry 3 in the series after that.
I watched the Netflix show based off of that. I didn't finish it.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
It wasn't awful. It was fine. It lured me in.
You do all the mental gymnastics in your head to so you're like, oh, it wasn't awful. There were so many bad things about it, but it wasn't awful.
No. I genuinely thought it was cool because of that ending in episode 3 where he stops the cruel dudes working at the top, hoarding all the food for themselves, and then the public gets in and then they're all clawing at each other. I thought that was decent writing, but now looking back, yeah, it's stupid. And I'm sure Dragon Dogma is actually really a really cool game.
Because what I've heard about that game, at least Dragon's Dogma, is that the story isn't exactly strong. It's just more so the combat and the gameplay is really good.
Well, in the words of death-defying capable scion John Carmack, the story in a video game is like a story in a porno. It's expected to be there, but it's not the main focus of the game. Or he said something along the lines of that. And the funniest thing is he said that to Tom Hall, the guy who was working on the story for Doom. Mm-hmm. Can you guess why Tom left?
But yeah, I got Oculus Quest 2 recently.
Cool.
And I started playing the Walking Dead VR game.
Nice.
And,
oh God, that must be terrifying.
I mean, I'm not terrified per se. It is just kind of like the most terrified I am is always like swinging around and accidentally hitting something.
Yeah, that's always a problem. But
it is kind of neat, just like just how you use the controls and everything in that game. Just like you can only hold a specific amount, but you can, like hold a weapon and everything. So you could always take full advantage of your hands and how you like carry everything. So say you want to go a specific distance, but you want to hold on to your weapon, but you don't have any room in your backpack. You can always just hold it in your hand and just go that distance.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a lot to like unpack with that game, and I've only started playing it. So, and like David said, I'm also playing Free Hopes. So, that game is also fun.
Yeah.
And I think that about covers it. We don't. We're still in the planning phases, so we don't know what's going on next episode. So I'm sorry for that. We'll try and get this all sorted out with a schedule and everything. But as for now, we don't know what's coming up next. But hope you join us for next time, and I hope you all have a great weekend or I hope you all have a great day, and take care out there.
Same. Expect more of my deep, not at all nerdy sounding voice in the future, because we're currently looking for another host. Anyway, see ya.
Take care. Bye.
Keep up the good work and prevent accidents. This shift is concluded.